You could be eating perfectly, hitting your protein targets every single day, doing everything the experts tell you, and still be losing muscle. Not because you are lazy, not because you are doing it wrong, but because nobody ever told you about the missing half of the equation. And that missing half is sitting in the fruit section of your grocery store, completely overlooked, completely underestimated, and backed by some of the most fascinating science in modern nutrition research. What I am about to share with you is not a trend. It is not a gimmick. It is a real biological explanation for why so many people over 60 feel their body slowly slipping away from them despite doing everything right, and exactly what you can do to stop it. Here is the truth that changes everything. You can eat 200 grams of protein a day and still lose muscle after 60 if the machinery inside your muscle cells that turns protein into actual muscle tissue is broken. And in most people over 60, that machinery is broken. The inflammation is too high. The mitochondria are too damaged. The growth signals are too weak. The blood flow is too restricted. Protein cannot fix any of that on its own. What fixes it are compounds found almost exclusively in fruit. Compounds that unlock the very pathways that proteins need in order to work. My name is Dr. Thomas Reed, and I am going to walk you through the 10 most powerful muscle-building fruits on the planet, starting at number 10 and building all the way to number 1. By the time we reach the top, you will understand how your body actually builds muscle after 60 better than most doctors, trainers, and nutritionists ever will. Starting at number 10, we have watermelon. Most people hear watermelon and think sugar water. They are missing something significant. Watermelon is the richest natural source of an amino acid called citrulline. And citrulline does something remarkable inside your body. When you eat watermelon, the citrulline is absorbed into your bloodstream, and your kidneys convert it into arginine, which is then used to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes and widens your blood vessels. Wider blood vessels mean more blood flow. More blood flow to your muscles means more oxygen, more nutrients, and faster removal of the waste products that build up during and after exercise. For people over 60, this is enormously important because aging stiffens blood vessels and reduces the natural nitric oxide your body produces on its own. But citrulline does something else that almost nobody talks about. When your body burns amino acids for energy during exercise, one of the toxic byproducts is ammonia. Ammonia builds up in the blood during physical activity, and it does not just cause fatigue. It actually shuts down the biological signal your muscles use to build new tissue. Citrulline accelerates the process that neutralizes ammonia, clearing it from your system faster and allowing your muscle-building machinery to switch back on sooner after your workout ends. A study in the European Journal of Nutrition found that citrulline from watermelon juice increased the rate of muscle protein synthesis following exercise compared to a placebo. And here is a practical tip most people miss entirely. The rind of the watermelon contains even higher concentrations of citrulline than the flesh. Blend it into a smoothie and you will get a substantially larger dose. Coming in at number 9 are Tart cherries, and they earn their spot for one of the most important reasons imaginable: chronic inflammation. After 60, your body runs a low-grade inflammatory fire that never fully goes out. Inflammatory molecules like interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha are constantly elevated, and they do two devastating things to your muscles simultaneously. First, they block the growth signals that tell your muscle cells to absorb amino acids and build new protein. Second, they activate a pathway that actively tears down the muscle protein you already have. You are not just building less muscle, your body is demolishing the muscle you spent years building. Tart cherry anthocyanins, particularly the cyanidin compounds responsible for their deep red color, suppress both of these inflammatory pathways at their source. They calm the molecular cascade that drives inflammatory molecule production, and they reduce the enzymes that generate the inflammatory signals telling your body to break down muscle. A study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that tart cherry supplementation reduced muscle damage markers by up to 50% after intense exercise. But for people over 60, the benefit goes beyond exercise recovery. By lowering the baseline inflammatory noise, tart cherries allow the muscle-building pathway inside your cells to become more sensitive to leucine, the amino acid that triggers new muscle growth. Tart cherries also contain natural melatonin, which promotes deeper sleep. Growth hormone, the primary driver of overnight muscle repair, is released in its largest pulse during deep sleep. Better sleep means more growth hormone, which means your muscles repair more effectively every single night while you are resting. At number 8, we have kiwi fruit, and its superpower has nothing to do with antioxidants. Kiwi solves a problem that most people over 60 are quietly suffering from without ever realizing it: poor protein digestion. After 60, your stomach produces less acid, your pancreas releases fewer digestive enzymes, and your gut lining absorbs less efficiently. The result is that a significant portion of the protein you eat is never fully broken down into the individual amino acids your muscles need. Those amino acids pass right through your system, partially digested, and your muscles never see them. You could be eating plenty of protein and still running low on the raw materials your muscles actually need. Kiwi contains a unique enzyme called actinidin that dramatically improves protein digestion across the full range of conditions inside your gut, from the acidic stomach to the more alkaline small intestine. A study published in Advances in Food and Nutrition Research showed that adding kiwi to a protein meal significantly increased the rate and completeness of protein digestion, releasing more amino acids from the food and delivering more of them into the bloodstream, where they can reach your muscles. Kiwi is also one of the most vitamin C-dense foods on the planet. 2 kiwis give you over 100% of your daily vitamin C requirement. Researchers at the Australian Institute of Sport found that consuming vitamin C 60 minutes before exercise roughly doubled the rate of collagen production in tendons. Stronger tendons mean you can safely increase the weight you lift over time, and that progressive challenge is the fundamental signal that tells your muscles to keep growing. Number 7 is bananas, and what makes them special for muscle goes far deeper than preventing cramps. Bananas are one of the richest fruit sources of potassium, with about 420 milligrams per medium fruit. Potassium is essential for the electrical exchange that happens inside every single muscle contraction. Every time a muscle fiber fires, sodium rushes in to trigger the contraction, and potassium rushes out to reset the cell for the next one. This happens millions of times during a single workout, and it depletes potassium rapidly. When potassium is low, your muscles cannot contract with full force. They fatigue faster, and the reduced quality of those contractions means less stimulus for growth. You could be doing the same exercises you did at 40 and getting far less out of them simply because your potassium levels are running low. There is a deeper mechanism, too. After 60, your body tends to drift toward a state of mild metabolic acidosis, a subtle shift toward acidity caused by declining kidney function and typical dietary patterns. This chronic mild acidity actively promotes muscle breakdown and inhibits muscle protein synthesis. Potassium acts as a natural buffering agent, counteracting this acidity and creating a more favorable chemical environment for muscle growth. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher potassium intake was independently associated with greater lean muscle mass in older adults, even after accounting for protein intake and physical activity. Bananas also provide fast-digesting carbohydrates that trigger an insulin response, and insulin is actually a necessary co-signal for the muscle-building pathway. The master switch for muscle protein synthesis requires both leucine from protein and insulin to fully turn on. Think of it like a lock that needs two keys. Protein gives you one key. A banana gives you the other. At number 6 is avocado, which surprises most people on the muscle list. But avocado contains a unique fatty acid called Avocatin B that no other commonly consumed fruit provides. Avocatin B improves insulin sensitivity, specifically in skeletal muscle. After 60, your muscle cells become progressively resistant to insulin. And this insulin resistance does not just affect your blood sugar. It directly weakens the biological signal your muscles need to activate their growth machinery. Avocatin B works by improving the way your muscle cell mitochondria burn fat for fuel. When fat burning is efficient, fewer toxic lipid byproducts accumulate inside the cell. Those toxic lipids are the primary cause of muscle insulin resistance. And by clearing them out, Avocatin B restores the insulin signal that primes your muscles for growth. 12 avocado is also the richest source of potassium among commonly consumed fruits, providing nearly 975 milligrams per fruit, more than twice what a banana offers. And it provides glutathione, which is the master antioxidant that protects the amino acid transporters embedded in your muscle cell membranes. These transporters are the physical doorways through which amino acids enter your muscle cells, and they are vulnerable to oxidative damage. A study in the American Journal of Physiology found that reduced glutathione levels in skeletal muscle directly correlated with impaired leucine uptake. And when glutathione was restored, the muscle protein synthesis response to protein feeding was partially rescued. You can eat all the protein in the world, but if the doorways into your muscle cells are damaged, the amino acids cannot get inside where they are actually needed. Number 5 is pomegranate, and this is where the science starts getting truly extraordinary. When you eat pomegranate, the LG tannins in the fruit are broken down by your gut bacteria into a molecule called urolithin A. This molecule triggers a process called mitophagy, which is the selective identification and recycling of damaged mitochondria inside your muscle cells. After 60, your muscle cells accumulate damaged mitochondria that are leaking toxic free radicals and producing energy inefficiently. These damaged mitochondria are not just dead weight. They actively poison the cell, reducing energy availability and damaging the signaling machinery that drives muscle growth. Urolithin A tags these broken mitochondria for removal, breaks them down, and recycles their components so the cell can build fresh, efficient replacements. 14 trial published in Nature Medicine found that urolithin A improved mitochondrial function and muscle endurance in older adults to a degree the researchers described as comparable to the effects of regular endurance exercise. A compound from a fruit produces exercise-like benefits inside your muscle cells. A second study in Nature Aging found that urolithin A also rejuvenated satellite cells, which are the stem cells your muscles rely on for repair and growth. The satellite cells became more responsive, divided more readily, and maintain their ability to produce functional muscle fibers rather than turning into fat or scar tissue. There is one important practical note here. Not everyone's gut bacteria convert pomegranate compounds into urolithin A with equal efficiency. People who eat a diverse, fiber-rich diet produce more of it. This is one of the reasons the full 10-fruit approach outperforms any single fruit alone. The fiber from the other fruits on this list feeds the very bacteria that perform this conversion, making the benefits of pomegranate stronger over time.
15. Number 4 is papaya, the most underrated fruit on this entire list. Papaya's secret weapon is a carotenoid called Beta-Cryptoxanthin. And unlike most antioxidants that provide general cellular protection, Beta-Cryptoxanthin has a specific, documented relationship with muscle tissue that no other carotenoid can match. A study in the British Journal of Nutrition found that higher blood levels of beta-cryptoxanthin were independently associated with greater muscle mass and strength in older adults, more strongly than beta-carotene, lycopene, or any other carotenoid studied. The mechanism involves beta-cryptoxanthin activating a nuclear receptor that regulates the genes controlling the joins, controlling mitochondrial function and oxidative defense specifically inside skeletal muscle. It does not just protect generally, it specifically upgrades the muscle cell's internal defenses.
Beta-cryptoxanthin also has a direct anti-catabolic effect. It inhibits the molecular pathway that switches on the genes responsible for dismantling muscle protein, meaning it does not just help you build muscle, but actively prevents your body from tearing it down. Papaya also contains papain, a powerful digestive enzyme that works similarly to actinidin in kiwi, improving amino acid absorption from your meals. So papaya is doing two things simultaneously: protecting your muscle from breakdown while ensuring more of the protein you eat actually reaches it. 1 to 2 cups of fresh or frozen papaya daily provides a meaningful dose of beta-cryptoxanthin alongside the digestive support of papain. Papaya also provides substantial vitamin C, adding to the total collagen-supporting pool alongside kiwi and oranges, ensuring your tendons and connective tissue stay structurally sound as you push your training intensity upward.
At number 3 are goji berries, and they belong this high on the list because they contain compounds found in no other commonly consumed fruit: Lycium barbarum polysaccharides. These are complex sugar protein molecules unique to goji berries that interact with your immune system in a way most anti-inflammatory foods cannot. They do not broadly suppress immunity the way drugs do. They selectively calm the overactive inflammatory signals that are driving muscle breakdown while simultaneously enhancing the immune functions that support repair. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that these polysaccharides significantly reduced circulating levels of the 2 primary inflammatory molecules driving age-related muscle wasting. And crucially, this happened without weakening the immune defenses that protect against infection. For someone over 60, that distinction matters enormously.
18. Goji berries also contain one of the highest concentrations of betaine found in any fruit. Betaine, also known as trimethylglycine, supports the production of creatine inside your body through a pathway that is completely independent of the main muscle-building switch. After 60, your body's natural creatine production declines, which means less explosive power in your muscles, slower recovery, and reduced capacity for the intense contractions that tell your body to keep building. A study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that goji berry supplementation increased lean body mass and muscle power output through both enhanced creatine synthesis and improved cellular hydration. And there is more. Research published in Rejuvenation Research found that goji berry supplementation increased growth hormone levels in older adults while also improving sleep quality,
Better sleep leads to stronger growth hormone pulses overnight. More growth hormone means more effective muscle repair while you rest. Goji berries are essentially providing a third activation key for the muscle-building door.
Number 2 are blueberries. And the reason they rank this high is not because of their antioxidant content in general. It is because of one specific compound called pterostilbene. Pterostilbene is structurally similar to resveratrol, but is absorbed into the bloodstream 4 times more efficiently. Once inside your body, pterostilbene activates a protein called sirtuin-1, which researchers have described as the longevity protein. In muscle tissue, sirtuin-1 is a master regulator of mitochondrial function. When activated, it triggers the creation of brand new, healthy mitochondria to replace the damaged ones that have been dragging your muscle cells down. Fresh, efficient mitochondria produce more energy with less oxidative waste. More energy powers the protein synthesis machinery at full capacity. Less waste means the growth signaling proteins stay intact and functional. The muscle cell becomes metabolically younger even as the body continues to age. 20. But the mechanism that truly elevates blueberries to number 2 is their protection of the neuromuscular junction. This is the connection point between your motor nerves and your muscle fibers, and it is something almost nobody talks about when discussing muscle loss after 60. Every voluntary movement begins with an electrical signal from your brain traveling to a neuromuscular junction, where the nerve releases a chemical called acetylcholine that triggers the muscle fiber to contract. After 60, these junctions deteriorate. The nerve terminals retract, acetylcholine release becomes unreliable, and muscle fibers that lose their neural connection cannot be voluntarily activated. They sit idle, regardless of how much protein you eat, and eventually they waste away. Research published in the Journals of Gerontology found that blueberry supplementation improved neuromuscular function as measured by grip strength, balance, and walking speed in older subjects. You are not just preserving muscle size, you are preserving the neural wiring that makes that muscle actually usable. 1 to 2 cups of frozen wild blueberries daily delivers the highest anthocyanin concentration at the lowest cost. And the number 1 fruit for building muscle and stopping muscle loss after 60 is one you have had access to your entire life: the ordinary orange. This is going to surprise almost everyone, but when you understand the complete picture of what oranges provide and how those compounds work together inside your body, the top ranking will make complete sense. Oranges are the most concentrated, commonly consumed fruit source of a flavonoid called hesperidin, found almost exclusively in citrus fruits, with the highest amounts in oranges and tangerines. Hesperidin activates the AMPK pathway inside skeletal muscle, which is your cell's master energy sensor and metabolic coordinator. When AMPK is properly activated, it promotes the creation of new mitochondria, increases fat burning to clear out the toxic lipids that cause insulin resistance, and primes the cell for subsequent growth signaling. A study in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition found that hesperidin supplementation improved muscle function and reduced muscle fatigue in older adults through enhanced mitochondrial efficiency. But hesperidin does something else that is arguably more important for people over 60 than anything else discussed today. It suppresses myostatin. Myostatin is a protein produced by your muscle cells that acts as a biological brake on muscle growth. In young, healthy muscle, this brake serves a purpose. But after 60, myostatin levels rise and the brake becomes too powerful. Your muscles cannot grow, even when the growth signals are present and the raw materials are available.
Research in the journal Nutrients demonstrated that hesperidin reduced myostatin expression in skeletal muscle while simultaneously increasing muscle growth factors. The net effect was a fundamental shift in the balance from breakdown toward building. Oranges also provide 70 milligrams of vitamin C per fruit for collagen synthesis, folate to reduce homocysteine levels linked to muscle decline, and potassium for acid-base buffering. The flavonoids in orange pith also suppress the enzymes that degrade tendon collagen, while vitamin C rebuilds it simultaneously, giving you comprehensive tendon protection that keeps you exercising consistently without injury derailing your progress. Now, imagine all 10 of these fruits working together inside your body at the same time. The inflammation blocking your muscles from responding to protein is being silenced by Tart cherries, Goji berries, papaya, and blueberries through 4 completely independent molecular pathways. The insulin resistance weakening your growth signal is being reversed by Avocatin B and Hesperidin. The damaged mitochondria poisoning your cells from within are being cleared by Urolithin A from pomegranate and replaced by fresh ones triggered by Pterostilbene from blueberries and Hesperidin from oranges. The protein digestion bottleneck wasting the amino acids from your meals is being opened by actinidin from kiwi and papain from papaya. The blood flow restriction starving your muscles of nutrients is being reversed by citrulline from watermelon and anthocyanins from blueberries. The myostatin brake preventing new growth is being released by hesperidin from oranges. The creatine deficit reducing your explosive power is being corrected by betaine from goji berries. Every single pathway, every bottleneck, every mechanism of muscle loss addressed by at least one fruit, usually 2 or 3, all working through independent biological targets.
You do not need to eat all 10 of these fruits every single day. You need to eat them consistently throughout each week, rotating through them so that over 7 days, your body receives all 10 compounds regularly. Bananas, kiwis, and oranges are easy enough to include daily. Blueberries and tart cherries alternate well. Pomegranate and papaya a few times a week. Avocado with lunch. Goji berries in a smoothie or as an evening snack. The principle is variety and consistency, not perfection. These fruits do not replace protein. They do not replace exercise. They make both of those things work the way they are supposed to work in a body over 60. Protein is the brick. These fruits are the entire construction crew. Now you know more about how fruit builds muscle than almost anyone alive. Use it.